Welcome to another episode of Game Boy Roulette, where we take a look at randomly chosen games from the Game Boy library.
John Madden Football 95. Wait, shoot, it's NBA season. Man, how many more times is this gonna happen? I am no more qualified to talk about football than John Madden is to talk about 3D printing. And yet here we are now on our 10th episode of Game Boy Roulette, where the subject is football. At the very least, though, these games have provided a nice spectrum of quality, from god-awful to pretty good. That's the thing about football games. They had most of the mechanics down by the time we were in the early 90s, so every game has lived and died on pure execution of gameplay. And given the Game Boy's relative lack of power, it usually had a lot of work to do to catch up with some of the console powerhouses. So what different stuff is there to say about John Madden Football 95? The Madden series started in 1988 and continues to run to this day, making it one of the longest running sports game franchises ever. Each game followed a similar formula, focusing more on realistic simulation of football games. The developer list is a who's who of companies, from EA to Bethesda to Hudson Soft. So, who was behind this one? Hailstorm Inc., a company with only 14 games to their name, but one of which was Sports Illustrated Championship Football and Baseball, which is one of the football games we've looked at that I genuinely enjoyed. So hey, that does tip things towards the positive. You know, provided they do a quick copy-paste job. The box art I probably could have seen coming. It's John Madden himself. Here's a personal story. As a kid, I had no idea who John Madden was, and I was confused why this guy was on the cover and not a top player. Clearly they should have gotten John Football to be on the cover. Come to think of it, wasn't there actually a guy who went by John Football? Whatever, it's football time again. Lace up those boots for John Madden Football 95. Ooh. That was a fancy little swoosh. Oh, they're going all in with these idents. And there's the text dump. John Madden 95. Okay. Whoa, God. Oh, I'm sorry. Please don't yell at me. You know, for the Game Boy, that's actually really impressive facial animation. Genuinely impressive. Like, I can look at them and vaguely see a face and be like, oh, maybe that's John Madden. Alright, let's actually do this. Okay, so we have continue season, yep, playoffs. Alright, so all the basic stuff. Let's do, where's Seattle? There we go, Seattle versus, let's do Chicago. Team matchups. Oh, that's interesting. It shows us what our strengths and weaknesses are. Set audibles, set defense audible. Okay, so, all the usual stuff you see in these games. Let's go. Captain calls in the air. Really nice looking game. I don't know why this image is so funny. I'm gonna receive. Alright, here comes the big question. How does the game play? Grab. Ooh. Well, it's pretty smooth. No delay. That's a good sign. Toot. Let's do shotgun. And flip it. A, B. Oh, I know what this is. Hike. B. Whoops. Okay. So, very standard kind of football gameplay. Where you just move around and the characters just have the letter over them as to which button you hit to make them catch it. I might be throwing too soon, or perhaps too late. There's not that many plays, but that's not a huge deal. Keep things pretty simple. These all just look like hieroglyphics to me. Go! Oh, we did it! And got negative. Okay, so it's B to move Alright, everyone move off screen. What I'm noticing is that the gameplay is completely standard for football, but really, the animation and, just how the game is playing is pretty nice. Especially for the time. Again, something about the Game Boy always made... Oh my god. Okay, this is the best game ever, never mind. It's good. But I was going to say, the game... Damn it, stop interrupting me with the most amazing cutscenes I've ever seen in my life. I'm trying to say that, for some reason, Game Boy sound chips always had voices very, very quiet. Hey. Yes! There's a reason why the Madden games were so popular, and still are. It's because, from what I can tell, by and large, they're just good games. Ooh, solidly made football games, good variety, good graphics for whatever console they're on. As always, personally, I prefer a little music in the background, but it's not a big deal. Uh-oh. Oh, we actually got it! That looked like an interception. See, my own personal problem with football games is I get bored very quickly doing the same thing over and over again, if it's realistic, if that makes sense. Oh god, this isn't a passing play! I can't help but feel that was a mistake. Okay, so by hitting up or down, you can change it from a passing play to a running play. And if there's no letters on screen, I assume that means it's a running play. That went decently. Alright, B, this is all on you. I believe in you. But it was a lie! Aw, dang it. I should have trusted you, B. I'm sorry. Stop him! Stop him! Stop him! No! Gotcha. Okay, it's not too... These little animations are so good! I'm really impressed with this game. It's not something I personally am going to want to play more of, but it's one of the best sort of overall packages I've seen for one of these football games. Yeah, one of the better football games I've played for the Game Boy. And I looked into it, and apparently the last time I really liked a football game for the Game Boy was, in fact, Madden 96. Yeah. So yeah, Madden on the Game Boy, it just worked. Good job, John. Another quality game designed directly by Mr. John Madden himself. I don't know much about football, but I know a good football game when I see one. As I said while playing, the Madden series was known for its high quality, and that quality really shone through on the Game Boy, turning this into one of the most enjoyable football experiences I've ever had on the system. And coming from me, someone who doesn't really enjoy football games in general, that says a lot. Now, a lot of that has to do with the gameplay itself. It had everything you want out of a football game, from easy to understand controls, to unlaggy, smooth gameplay, to a nice variety of plays you could use to customize how you play. And I love that little stat screen comparing how your team stacks up against the opponent. It's a small detail, but it lets you adjust your game plan on the fly. I dig it. But what pushed this game over the top for me is a small thing, but one that I really appreciate. Those little in-between animations. John Madden talking, the coin flip from the ref, the touchdown dance. They were some of the better cutscene animations I've seen on the Game Boy. And yes, they don't mean much, but sometimes all it takes is a little presentation to push a game from good to great. Given how often these football games blend together in my mind, having something I can latch onto can go a long way to making me remember it. And thanks to those silly little 2-second clips, I will forever remember Madden 95. I doubt I'll ever go back to this game. I've said many times before, I'm just not into football games. But I did enjoy my time playing it, so I can recommend it to anyone who's looking for a way to get their football fix on the small screen. But of course, I have to wonder, just how many more football games are there lurking on the Game Boy? And that's all for another episode of Game Boy Roulette. Make sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe to follow the series as we continue to dig through the Game Boy vault. I'm Brian J, and I'll see you next time.